Oh, hello. Welcome to the uni-ball Science Museum. My name is John Baker, and I'm going to be your tour guide as we show you the latest and greatest in writing instrument technology. With the uni-ball Science Museum, uni-ball is showing us how their ink and their ink delivery systems is superior to any other product on the market. So please sit back and check out these great demonstrations that we have to prove to you that uni-ball is the best writing instrument out there. I'm going to start by talking about gel ink. Gel ink is very interesting. For a long time, ink was only ballpoint or rollerball. Now, a ballpoint ink is a solid ink, and a rollerball is a liquid ink. The rollerball smears a little bit easier, and the ballpoint dries a little bit quicker. Gel ink was introduced in 1996. The great thing about it is that at rest, it's a solid. However, if I shake this up, with movement and friction, it becomes a liquid. And now I can do with it anything I want. The great thing about gel ink is that as you write on a paper, it becomes a liquid. And then not long after just a few seconds, it will actually dry. And it will become a solid again, as you can see. Now, in order to add color, most pens and most writing instruments will use dye. This is an example of dye. It's very fluid, it's a liquid, it's very dark in color. This is an example of pigment. Now, uni-ball has come out with something called uni-super ink, and it actually uses pigment in order to color its pens. Now, you can see the difference in the color with these. The uni-ball super ink is very much more it's brighter, it's more vibrant, it lasts longer, it doesn't fade as easily. It's a far superior option to using regular dye ink. Now, keep that in mind as I show you these uni-ball products. All of them contain uni-super ink. Now, the first demonstration I'm going to show you from here is about the uni-ball Jetstream. Now, the Jetstream is a real interesting product. It's actually a hybrid ink. So it's not quite a rollerball and it's not quite a gel. The nice thing about it is that it writes very smooth like a rollerball, but it dries quickly. Now, when I talk about the fact that it's smooth and it's the fastest writing pen on the market, I'm going to show you this quick demonstration. I've got the uni-ball Jetstream, and I've got the Pilot G2. Now, as I raise this paper, they're going to start to slide down it, and we're going to see which one reaches the end first. So I'll raise it right at the middle. And as you can see, the uni-ball Jetstream slid right down the paper, whereas the Pilot G2 didn't even move. The reason because of that is that the uni-ball Jetstream is very smooth, whereas the Pilot G2s have a very rough feel to them. And the greatest way to demonstrate this, if you're actually with somebody, is to have them hold both products and just write in circles. Now, as you can see, the G2 wants to fall over, it gets blotchy, it scratches, and the uni-ball Jetstream is very smooth. It's a great way to demonstrate how this product is the fastest writing pen on the market. I'm going to put these down, continue our demonstrations. The next one I have for you is the uni-ball Vision RT. Now, with the rollerball pen, there seems to be one major problem, and that's that it bleeds. So if you've ever seen anyone get off an airplane with a big splotch of ink in their pocket, it was probably a rollerball pen. So now we've got this demonstration, and I've got a uni-ball Vision RT and a Pilot Precise V7. Now, what we're going to do is open one of these and put it down on a napkin or a piece of paper, and then open the Pilot and put it down just the same way on a napkin or a piece of paper. Now, almost immediately, the Pilot is going to start bleeding into that paper, and that ink circle is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. Now, you can imagine if that were in your shirt pocket, you'd be in for a rough day. However, the Vision RT is not going to leave any blotch marks, just one red dot. We'll get back to this at the end and really show the impact. The next quick demo I have for you is something to prove that uni-ball, mechanically and physically, is making the best pens available. This is another Pilot Precise, and it's a needlepoint. Now, Pilot has done a lot with needlepoints in the past, but one of the big problems with these is that the tip itself is very, very weak. So if I put any pressure on this at all, it's actually going to bend. So the more I write, and the harder I press, without almost any effort at all, it will actually bend and fold right back. Now, I've just paid a few bucks for a pen, and I can't use it anymore. This is the uni-ball Vision needle. The great thing about this is that it's a new needle tip, but it's not going to bend back. So as you can see here, it writes very smooth using the Uni Super Ink, and the harder I press, doesn't matter. So I can press almost as hard as I can, and when it comes down to it, I can't bend the tip. Now that's something that's going to make your pen last a little bit longer, or a lot longer, and make sure you get the full use out of it. Now, one of the benefits of using Uni Super Ink is that the ink actually bonds to the material that it's written on. So it will embed itself in a piece of paper, such as a check. Now, over $10 billion a year are lost due to identity theft and check fraud. I'm going to show you a quick example of how that works. When you've got a Pilot G2, the ink that you write on, say, a check or a piece of paper can easily be washed away just by using a very common household item that you can find at any convenience store. So what I'm going to do is take this uni-ball 207 pen, and I'm going to write Check Savvy John Baker. And with this Pilot G2, I'm going to write Not Savvy G2. Now, as you can see, at first, they look very similar. But after just a few seconds, I can actually pull the G2 ink right off of this check. So I'm going to open up this substance, and I'm going to hold this paper and fold it and actually put it right in and just shake it up a little bit. Now, you can see almost immediately that the Pilot G2 ink is starting to come right out. Now, I haven't even shaken it up, and this is just after a few seconds. Now, you can almost see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but the FBI actually has bought hundreds or thousands of uni-ball 207s to give to their employees, and they've logoed them the FBI Academy. Now, the great thing about this is that the uni-ball 207 helps protect against everything. So they want their employees to use it for everything important, whether it be writing a check, signing a contract, all that stuff. And you know that if the FBI backs it, it must be a great product. So now I've been shaking this piece of paper up, and now when I pull this out, you'll actually be able to see on the check the way the uni-ball 207 Super Ink is still very bright, very clear, very smooth, and the Pilot G2 ink is virtually gone. So let me open this piece of paper up, and you can see from here, the uni-ball 207 ink, after just a few seconds, is still perfect, whereas the non-savvy G2 ink is gone. So now in just a few minutes, I've shown you how uni-ball is creating the best ink formulas, the best ink delivery systems, the strongest needlepoint tips on the market, and is helping protect you against check fraud. We make the fastest writing pens on the market. And as you can see here, our pens aren't going to bleed on this piece of paper like the Pilot pens would. Like I said, if this were your shirt, you'd be an unhappy person. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with me. Hopefully you've seen how uni-ball is at the cutting edge of writing instrument technology, providing you with the best ink formulas and the best ink delivery systems on the market. Go ahead and take these demonstrations out and show others what you've learned. Thanks a lot, and enjoy your uni-balls.